Tio Blaze.
Hey there, this is Tio bringing another Kerbal Space Program video. And man, it has been a while since I've released one of these. For those of you that don't know, I travel a lot with my family. Been on the West Coast a lot. Been in the Reno area, and then went back down home to the Gulf Coast for a little while, a short while, and now we're traveling, vacationing up north. So, been real busy with that, homeschooling my kids and doing other things, and I hadn't really played Kerbal a whole lot, to be honest. For those that have played hundreds, if not thousands of hours, you know that when you get to that stage in the game, Kerbal can get a little buggy. It can get a little cumbersome. The game loads slower. The crafts load slower. It affects the enjoyment, in my opinion, of the game. So I kind of go through phases where I'll jump back in, and it's usually a mod or a different playthrough that draws me back into the game, because my main career mode, it's it's it can be a time vampire. So anyway, I started playing it a little bit more recently, and thought I would share some of the footage with you guys. So here you see on screen the Vulcan, just a less original name perhaps for a large ship that I created. I planned on sending this to probably the Joule system soon, and as you see on screen, I'm getting it ready for that flight. I sent a crew up to the Vulcan, and it's time to send it over to Minmus to refuel. So I got this thing in orbit with some boosters, a little bit extra fuel, but using the main engines of the Vulcan. So that's why it's already got low fuel and wouldn't make a trip to a place like Joule. So I'm going to send it to Minmus, and I can show off my enormous refueling station that I have at Minmus. And also going to add another feature to the Vulcan before I depart. And that departure and whole mission for the Vulcan would probably be in a different video, because this is my career mode, and from what I can remember, the Vulcan's still sitting around the orbit of Minmus as we speak. So maybe I can send it to Joule, probably Laythe, and make a separate video for that. But so yeah, not much else specifically to update you guys on. Just been busy seeing the sights and traveling, enjoying time with my family and whatnot. And I've been playing some other games. I always play a lot of StarCraft. I posted some videos about StarCraft on my channel. Got a few likes, or I'm sorry, a few views. And I've also been playing a lot of Valheim, which is another fun game. So nothing like KSP. These three games are very different, and I enjoy playing each of them at different times for different reasons. So there you see me docking with the fueling station. So the way I have the fueling station set up, it's one of the largest fuel tanks in the game, set to it's disabled, so it doesn't draw fuel from that tank to feed the rest of the vehicle. So then I have enough tanks and engines on it so that it has decent thrust to weight ratio to land on Minmus. It's got 4 drills and I don't know, maybe 1 or more converters. So it spends most of its time in orbit, because that giant tank is an awful lot of fuel and takes a while to drain. But then it lands under its own thrust, refuels, and gets back into orbit. So I haven't used it often in my career mode. I used it for one specific application. I sent a ginormous station to the orbit of Joule, and it had a lot of fuel, and I think I had to use that lander for that mission. So since then, it's been sitting here, and now I've got a good use for it. So doing a little bit of science. Again, this is my career mode. There's a good view of the Vulcan. I think it's a pretty cool design. And got my crew ready, got my fuel, and all that's left to do, I decided, because it's such a large vehicle, it deserves its own shuttle, its own little utility vehicle for bringing Kerbals to and from other points in the orbit. So that's what this vehicle is going to be, sending it over to Minmus to dock with the Vulcan. I needed something small to not offset the center of mass with the Vulcan, so that the Vulcan engines will continue to function and won't, I guess, push my vehicle off course. I also wanted something that kind of looked like the Vulcan, something small I could just attach to the belly of it. And that's what this design is. So it's all it's intended to do is bring some kerbals to and from the Vulcan if I wanted to leave the Vulcan out in its own orbit and not dock with a space station or something like that. In theory, it could also go down at the surface, although I don't think it has landing legs, so it'd have to be a moon with low gravity, something that it can land on the engine bell or use RCS even to kind of land softly. So yeah, that's the whole gist of the mission. I'm going to go ahead and dock here in a second, and the vehicle will be complete. Like I said, I'll probably send this thing over to Laythe shortly. I've got a whole series in the works regarding Laythe. I've got tons and tons of footage, lots and lots of other vehicles I've sent, and once it's all mostly ready, I'll start publishing those videos. I kind of want to build the collection up so that I have a lot to publish all at once or in close succession. So that's definitely where the Vulcan's going to go, sending a crew out there. Yeah, not much else to talk about. Got a little bit time left in the video. There you see my rendezvous with the Vulcan. I did have to, this is the Vulcan version 2. I built a different one slightly with more parts and without some design considerations that I've added since. So one being the docking port for the little shuttle. So I knew I was gonna, oh, there I'm actually moving the docking port. So I think I placed it too close to the to that relay dish. But yeah, I've got a third version. I mean, I like building large ships like this. Again, in my career mode, it can be an issue because of just how slow the game tends to play, and if you play with too many complex parts and ships for too long, the game starts to get buggy. Parts start to move where they shouldn't, and it'd be a whole lot less fun. But it's been fun enough. I've been playing a little bit more of it. I've also got a lot of footage that I'm working on for a whole different playthrough with life support. Life support's a really fun mod if you haven't tried. So, about to dock and wrap up the video. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, especially those of you that have tuned in the past and wondering where I've been. I've been fine. I've got lots more footage in the pipeline, and as usual, and just a matter of finding some quiet time where the kids are out of the house, or at least all doing something, and I've got some peace and quiet where I can do some recording. But again, appreciate y'all tuning in. Hit the like button if you haven't. Subscribe, leave a comment. I'd like to interact. Hope to see you again in the next